Hey guys, welcome to Sopi Mix Studio Umbiamas, conectando Aruba com o mundo via vídeo podcasting. Conectar conosco, compartilhar ideias e histórias para nos inspirar e para conan abrir. Sopi Mix Studio é plataforma de podcast na Aruba. Follow-nos no Facebook, subscribe no YouTube ou na plataforma de podcast preferido. Escute o podcast preferido que hora e onde está. Sopi Mix Studio, powered by Subway. Passa na Subway para o sop, salada, wrap ou flatbread de mais fresco. Cucheta localidade Ronde Aruba. Nós está cerca de Subway. Swing Masters. Organizando events, conferences ou weddings. Mister de luz, sound, staging, DJ, trussing ou flat screen. Swing Masters está klaar para ser boa fiesta éxito. Swing Masters. E agora, Sopi Mix Studio é plataforma de podcast de Aruba está apresentar.
Hi, welcome to Sincerely Carolina. Thank you so much for tuning in. Are you excited? Are you ready to get motivated, educated, and hopefully have some changes in your daily life? Well, you are at the right place. I am Carolina. I will be your host of this podcast. And this podcast is available thanks to our amazing sponsors.
Lindy Boutique, Proframe, always Gelatissimo, Paper Sisters, and Aveeno.
Thank you so much. Hi! Happy Monday! Bong si Mang. Welcome to Sincerely Carolina. Okay, so I will definitely talk about English, and I'm sure I'm going to throw in some Dutch words. No, guarda, mi introductions.
Sorry. No,
Caramba! E mai tutto niente, guarda. Now come sa fully novo. Hello, happy new week. This is Sincerely Carolina. I'm your host today and every Monday. Yes, so as I was saying, it will be in Papia English, no fighting words, in Papiamento, Dutch, English. Okay, so just ting paciência com nós. It's gonna be an very interesting topic. Mi quero pedir se toda gente, please, me tá compreender que eu vou ter uma diferença de opinião, pero tá respectful in the comments if you wish to discuss anything that we mention. I would really appreciate that. And if you're not respectful, I will delete your comments. So I'm just letting you know that. But before we continue, mi kabisa hopi danki na mi awesome sponsors could allow me to have these awesome conversations. Lindy Boutique, Proframe, nos ting Purina, Possum Holidays, Aveeno, Paper Sisters, Gelatissimo. And yes, as you know, as we do every week, debating giveaways. So cara, like, share, e depending panos, learn and win Wednesday quiz, okay? And this data based on something we discuss throughout this episode. We better have a question and to gana to say usually the funnest prize, okay? So without further ado, I will say Papia D, the infamous Zwarte Piet, okay? Se você follow me um tempo acaba me querer você una mi perspective on this topic. Pero het is importante, alsnog, van ons papje ontiki die why we're here in the first place, why are we having this conversation, die kon het een conversation ainda, que bij, right? So hopefully after today, nos sinti ontiki mas educated, empathetic, and to mas aware, if anything, because that's the goal of this show. So, nos sabay next by introductions. Nos seeing very interesting guest today. And Randall, mi tabla kabo papi prome, Jacob, but I hope you're excited.
Papa. No, bo me sta di mi. By the way, but in bon sponsors, Purina. Ti mi amita wish mi un cachorro, mi po come coni.
Okay.
No sta mi sta mi to work on that. Amazing.
I love them. I do.
Yeah.
Mi nota wish mi pro come ano qual sa comida, pero
Tava tem dia, ora mi dati mane shete aya, sigo mi net Scooby-Doo to hot.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Ando mi cara mi dati shopping com cereal, ando ma compra cereal, ando minha casa, ma abre cereal, ma baixa cereal, ando ma vai comer cereal. Mi dati mane cereal to smaak straio. Lugar per ongeluk, het houdt de communicatie.
Scooby-Doo snacks.
Sa, ma compra Scooby-Doo snacks, qual de comunicação?
Se passa com minha mama, não só compra esse dogs, então minha mama late night pensa com.
Sa.
Sim. Sorry mom.
Niet quero ser bom introduction. Para henderson gewer que eu tenho.
Okay. Quando nós não mais moments, please.
Met um gajo que canta.
Vera?
Sa. Behalve sei, met um gajo que tra propaganda também.
Okay.
Anto met um gajo que Guy ko ting opinion ng hopi skerpi en het bisa timbia. Anto behalve essay. Ja, met een guy ko gusto come hopi, pero gewoon basta ultimo ki bahando mang anto hopi in touch com emotional side anto purbando dit un bong hende while also purbando di at the same time no choka hende. Dus kind of like purba di hay un balance den hopi kos.
Awesome. Magusta kung babisa say ko, but por mani hay un balance, anto por badi no choka hende. So, mina sa si basta sa, pero makuminsa pari semana pasada kung kos ko yama kindness cards.
Okay.
Anto usually mita sila, of now, we not figure it out. Mita siya at the beginning or at the end. Pero, hindi mita siya at the beginning, anto mita ting, I'm so proud of you. Paso mita hoping kung sa mas choka yung hende awe, anto kubo na ba sila. So, please, lagami si inti man okay, kung madunabi card ki, okay?
Okay, for sure.
So, kindness card, tabisa, I'm so proud of you, okay?
Okay.
But no choke hende in daily life.
Okay? Met de product news.
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Pero
tempo na cambia, hope.
Sí.
So.
No, pero basically, mita haya ko, indeed, with a voice, about opinions, with a platform, pa voice opinions lang, especially about issues that matter. The mi opinion, of course. So that's why you get them. So proud of you, girl.
Hope dank je mensen bij Card Kim. Ik ben honored. Ik quero agradecer mi Dios, mi mama, mi tata, todo gente que por esse momento que possível.
Okay. Without further ado, me doy paso a palabra pa Nicole.
Hola. Let me be cocky. For those who don't know me, my name is Nicole, aka Empowerment Queen.
Yes.
Social worker, unapologetic, big mouth, warrior, queen. What else am I missing?
Purple lover.
Yeah,
just in case if people don't
purple
know.
Lover,
right?
obsession actually. It's not even normal, but yeah. And I'm so happy that we are finally having this conversation. Like I'm amped.
Yes. And just so everybody know, Nicole, para may hen ko reach out or may decided to have this conversation. Pasamitahin importante misa ko Nicole on the same page. Anto ko elo para yudami kis guests ko lo yuda a conversation I can buy in the right direction. So thank you, Nicole, for accepting and being here and suggesting our next guest, Jason. Wara, kindness card. Wara. Hold on, Jason. Give me 1 second. So, you're set. It says, you are better than unicorns and sparkles combined.
Oh, yes.
And, it's purple. So, yes. Yes.
Nee, me diz, eu vou dar Jason.
What happened?
No, bon code.
Thank you so much, girl.
You're welcome.
I love it.
All right, next. Jason, welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm Jason Brown. Let me see. How I think this should describe me.
Me lo bisa guy que guy ko kongo bawake eta líder de carnaval, man.
Yes,
pero honestamente, me pode pensar que como sobrar é guy que não gosta de música de carnaval.
I know.
É guy que hip hop had me conhecer desde.
Correction, I don't have the music de carnaval.
E não sabe dele?
No, I don't have the music de carnaval.
How so?
Okay. Boa tiração. Okay.
Education is key.
Okay. So
actually, it was right. I don't like music.
Bom, não gosta de música de carnaval?
I like
You like
okay.
soca.
Okay.
What?
Okay. Well, but save it.
That's my homeboy.
Manhã, passou manhã que eu abriram com na rádio. Jason
Jason
Brown nota estima carnaval.
Aqui para criar polêmica durante o show. Caramba.
Polêmica tá bom, tá louco. Pero guy que guy hip hop head support hopi artists na Aruba. Anto also guy ku eigenlijk guy hopi bom guy. Qual tá algo que nota tá hopi rare me de querer para bisa de gente. Mane nos tutti nos konang, pero deep down inside na milo bisa ku Jason guy ku so heart tá at the right place. Sa qual me te querer tá dia com não mais miho. Dia top 3 miho caminhando com o coração portar.
Yes.
Na bom lugar.
I agree.
Anything else? Do you want to add for yourself?
For myself, currently president of Carnaval, involved in a lot of different projects. Been Randall manager for a while.
Ooh.
Currently Nicole manager as well.
All I had him.
So, like he said, I've been helping a lot of local people. Actually, that's my thing.
Okay.
I like finding talent and pushing talent, and then when they blow up, like Randall, and it's like, okay, go do whatever you want.
Well, I do think I chose the right card, and it says you're one of a kind.
Oh.
Because from what I understood, and today was confirmed, is that you are one of a kind.
Thank you.
All right.
I didn't prepare a speech, but thank you a lot.
No speech necessary. Thank you is fine. All right. Okay. So before we go into, Zwarte Piet, I think it's important that we understand how did we get to Zwarte Piet? What is Zwarte Piet, or when did Zwarte Piet start? And of course, Zwarte Piet is attached to Sinterklaas, which, I can honestly say as a child, all that I remember of that celebration, because I don't think I was really educated on the celebration itself, like who he is, or maybe it was and it didn't stick in my brain, I'm not sure. But this memory that I have is shoes and candies and gift. And that's pretty much it. So I don't think that Sinterklaas in itself, like him as like a religious man or whatever, and whomever his helpers are, really did matter to the celebration or how excited I was about it. But that is just my experience, and I know this experience may vary. But let's talk about this St. Nicholas. So he was a real guy at some point, okay? Like long time ago. He died in the year 340-ish, okay? So we're not sure. But he did die on December 6th or 5th. I mean, some different sources say different dates. But that's why I guess we celebrated on this day, right? Because we are commemorating his death.
Qual é weird thing para celebrate,
It was a
no?
birthday thing? Okay.
No, I mean not his birthday, but the day he died.
Ela moriva é que menos está celebrando o dia de morto.
Sim, pero passou, ito religious man. Anto kika pasa ta ko years later, like a couple hundreds years later, now I realized his work, what he did for children, like encouraging children not to be lazy and stuff. I reward him the saint. How do you call that?
Like
position? Is it a position?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, he was
Status.
elevated to saint status.
So
Yes.
é motivo que ela guarda elevated to saints manier. En de konad bi sela able to saint agora aqui. Tá para sobre ela ajuda children.
Yes. So attached to that, ito to the children, ito to encourage children, ito tong tikiting man education, pero reform also. So making sure ko children nang the respectful, inang the yuda na kas with chores and stuff. So the local committee kita wak, man ito to reward children basically for that.
And was that a part of the reform of Purbadi mani reform society into mani Christianity?
He himself, no. But at the time, Christianity as we know it now, not that it really exists. Pero a Roman Catholic Church, ahaya ko itaw to embody those teachings, and to say like that elevated. We're gonna say elevated to saint. Yeah, to saint status, and to basically, dorko itaw to man saint for like a very long time, like about 300 years or more. Nanta Haci plays, back then, or Haci religious, of conveying religious message, but Haci plays because most people couldn't read. So Nanta Haci plays, on that he would appear, and in a momento durante that play, it a reward, a brave, until children could actually do good things, good deeds, and to admonish lazy children. So it specifically no gusto man laziness. And you know, way back na right, the core values ng the Christianity, like being a sloth is like a big no-no. So I can see how that's tied to teaching children from like a very young age to be active, right? So for a very long time, it hindi ko perceived as rewarding and punishing depending on your behavior. So I say obviously I create ko elabira folk story na kasnang ko no si ayaw pa prepare, anto si bono do what you gotta do, or Sinterklaas bini, you're gonna get in trouble, right? And to kiko tata pasata ku itata actually what I considered mani booman. So he was scary. So kids nang tatu ting miedo ku they would get punished by this man. And to issue a start like very long time ago as well, like I don't know 1600-ish, 1500s. Sobre shoes that were usa in churches. But poor people haya donations from the rich. So na tata pone sapato na to the rich tata mani pone plakad in different shoes, and then it was shared within that church. And to Rikiko parents nga Haci nga who's a miss shoe ideology, nos bahasi na kas, and if you're good, Sinterklaas ay bing, and tapos yung regalitos ng kubumangal lang, basically, right? So the shoe has been around for like 500 years, okay? The shoe.
The shoe has been around for 500.
Yes, the shoe. You see how the shoe is so important?
Yeah,
Pero may kasi ito yung piyabo.
I guess.
Exactly.
Hey,
Caramba.
amigo Jason
Still
the
history
Bob,
lesson.
yeah. Amigo
Still
Jason the
history
Bob, yeah.
lesson. Nothing hoppy background on helpers, die Sinterklaas, actually. Basically, eigenlijk in nota te ting helpers until like the 19th century. Anto leeuw, ding some cultures, helpers dan kata ting that a little like demons. Which was
I've
like,
never heard of that.
yeah, but it was very intense. But that's a thing. And
I
ito
think
ding
that's
specific.
the intimidation factor.
Yes.
I don't understand.
Imita
When
kere
you
ko ta-
started.
Imita kere to ding certain like churches ko portata o tong tiki mas on the fear factor. Nanga decididi huza mane little devils ko if you do something bad,
like
you're gonna go with
You're
the
going to
devils.
hell.
In Osaka, wanneer
Yeah.
churches na to hoop je wanneer in to spantahende of wanneer laga in de
Yeah.
kerk of straat.
So basically, the origin of the helpers was to scare people.
Yes, to further scare the children. Because apparently, since that one guy couldn't be like the one rewarding and punishing, they had to kind of find, give him like a last scary image. So, Jav, if you can help me out, St.
sorry.
Nicholas, the one
We
spank
was there,
children.
Jason.
Sorry to jump the gun, but
Relax.
anyway.
Who decided this?
No, wait. Not yet.
Not yet. Guarda. Nós tá going down on history lane. So, se você pôr riba screen, você tá very old depiction de St. Nicholas, the spanking children. E esaki tá basically image. So, back then, nota outra mane outro helper to spank the children, but it was him himself. If you were like one of those lazy kids or whatever, you would get spanked by him, okay?
Intense.
Na meu aqui tá spanking muito.
Sim, toma.
Intense.
Sim, bastante intense.
Wow.
Also, nós temos image about the shoe. Já vou post say também. Então, it's mostly about like food items. So, se você walk, it's many paper notes, type of like candies you see at the bottom. Então, yeah, I say that thing. Então, você walk para muito na tiki upset. I guess nang nahay na din na shoe because they were lazy or whatever. Their parents decided ko not to punish AUA for. But I say that basically a tradition. Pero bono that I walk St. Nicholas for a very long time. It mostly images within the religious realm. Okay, he was a real guy, by the way. There's a real picture of him. It's not a real picture. Somebody decided that he probably looked like this until he not decided
Hey,
image.
kom
Okay.
ora hende ng kabay kaya nan tinku
You have to
feet.
catch at one level.
Nan just by pelong. Essa unimikos na tayo, então se me kabay bira sino
No, I
pele.
gonna tell you.
Vou pôr um cinto quando eu quero, pero vou me de um bom feet off, vou me pele pelong.
Me tá compreender, pero por ter tempo e não, tá tinha uma opção, é diz. Desedo vai estar style, não são só.
Yeah.
Tá, ai, 340 gai que morre, I mean.
A mim só basta comissário assim.
Tu nem
A mim
chance.
está pensando mil para sobrar. Coi não. É dress nem tampouco, é dress de Sinterklaas nem também tá cansado, menino, tu tá
It was a
canarão.
period.
Isso aqui porque man.
Pero ainda não se sort of who's that outfit,
Yeah.
right? The saint
Vai
and
de
to
missa.
tie to
Vai de missa.
religious. Sim.
Ora vai de missa, tu tá vestindo mane wizards.
Yep. So, we can make it very clear until about 1850, Sinterklaas that were considered mas mane myth, okay? No that llega un camino to turmo to baby say hi. But so it thought actually scary because until that night, bonolo sa si abo to mane un lazy kid or not. So eno that appear. E custom kuno stiyan wara kiko, right? That llega mo bodo. No so comindele say not exist. Unico camino na que appear in churches during plays, pakorde mo siya ko he's real, right? Yes, and then came 1850 until now, okay?
Yeah.
So it wasn't until 1850 que nós tawak a first depiction of Zwarte Piet. And it's in a book, anto a book yama Saint Nicholas and Saint Knecht and Helpers, something like that. Anyways, it's a Dutch book. Anto ding a Dutch book aqui. Meneer, het meneer escola tempo na Hollanda, a decidir que ele vai trabalhar book com songs, não?
Knecht.
Right?
Nicolas and
Zijn
zijn knecht.
knecht.
Ah, okay. Look, mijn cara ongeveer, sim. Anche met die notes, congelé, maar als ik for some reason. Anto, ela decidi que ela vai pintar Saint Nicholas com helpers. Anto, ela tem cantiga não. Yes.
Somebody uncle. We talk about it. Meneer Yam.
Sim.
Meneer Jan, sim, não é Jan, bastante.
Anto, ela decidi de pinta kabay ko ta subir iba dak, right? Esaki tampouco não tá tão very known thing, kasi não tá tem reason pa subir iba dak. Pero I guess ding turso fantasia nang anto he did write children's book and different topics. Ela decidi ko ito vai pone center class ribong kabay riba dak. Anto ito vai do na center class little helpers, okay? Jeff will show a picture di a booking. So sagde from my image ever di center class ko helper as we know it now, right? Zwarte Piet. Just 850. Remember how this guy died in like 340? Anto,
Uncle Jan.
no? Okay. Jeff is telling me, no, I'm not saki ko knockerman, so I'm showing it here, okay? So, this is St. Nicholas. Ante saki ta little helpers. Okay.
Tempo na yan, natin kabay daw.
Sí.
Okay.
Okay. Esaki a passa, anto, this was the hopi research. Pa sobra, eigenlijk a buha sali, anto, nobody really paid attention to it. Pero lahaya man a bunch of editions, when 5 editions at the end of like his center class book writing career. Ito saka kantika nang ku, you know.
Was serious about it.
Yes, he very much liked center class for some reason. Anto, the same guy was really obsessed with the nobles, with the Dutch nobles, and the nobles in general, and to kon to behave, and to kon to interact with each other. And to voor die nang eigenlijk, this was your research, asali, ku ela has inspiration, the gifts ku nobles to do na otro. Jeff, do we have this picture? Because I think it would be clearer if we post it up. Yes, okay. So, riba ipotrat po ako unja nobles nang minosasi ito man yung cousin or whatever. So, number ito Beatrix, ito yung Dutch noble. So, definitely ito familia the Dutch nobles. And to, Butawake pictured ko enslaved Moorish child. Si Bawake outfit, mitakere ko nos pa recognize ka outfit type ta very familiar. Zwarte Piet eigenlijk so outfits nang ta very typical Moorish outfit. Yes. And to tempo apparently, in nobles sa gusto duna otro little children, kuta cute din ng perception, right? Kuna nata stand out ding a group di slaves nang kuna being portrayed.
I think it was just
Yeah.
Well,
natatahayan ng prettier than the rest. Anto pisay nang chosen. Meskos bata tinge indoor slaves nang outdoor slaves nang.
Lokis bo. Na lokis ya Jason.
Nana bata buscando pa bahaya
talks.
Guy. Demo frente, no?
É senhora de mesmo cachete com amiting ora mi not in barba.
wow.
Bise que eu tô rato.
Yeah. Just no.
Guarda.
Good luck with that.
Aha. Oh, boom. See, dus Feinang apparently ela get inspired tanto nang haya sa Saki pa sobra he wrote somewhere like back then people love diaries and stuff like that, right? Tanto ta document di una na inspiration sa ta bini anto Feinang ng inspiration akia bini. Dus ito ta algo super unrelated to the whole story of St. Nicholas, right? Kuno sa pasong tikiriba jele anto it's mane elastic and durante ayan yang however esta sina ku e temporada ba pora wak da diferente país não tinha push right pa sobra ku tinha push pa abolish slavery anto ba tinha grupo ku quer keep it anto ribo tinha a depiction di ginecolo oscuro como basically less than, right? So but make them out to look like clowns, funny, whatever. Anteriori TV, right? As soon as TV started, it just kept growing.
Pick it up and run.
Anto elastic to the point ko na 2021
we're having this discussion.
Ko eigenlijk not a very long time compared to how long St. Nicholas has been around, right?
True.
Uncle Jan.
So letterlijk because of Uncle Jan.
Man.
E não somente Uncle Jan, because of Uncle Jan, e a culture ko embrace Uncle Jan so ideas because idea not another thing.
People thinking like Uncle Jan.
Well, back then,
and
ainda.
now, but we got
which is the reason why we're having this conversation in the first place. A conversation we're not even supposed to be having.
Nope.
In 2021.
Acabei de um comment como very interesting. Surcosa tinha urgent, pero the Dutch made it very vulgar and very abusive towards children. Tawar usa como fear to control the masses. Honestly, basta atrobe manema bisa.
It started like that with the fear of if you do not excel, you're going to get beaten. And I mean, back then, he was a scary man. I mean, with the years, he became less scary, and then
they needed
the
something
Zwarte
else.
Piets became
The
little devils didn't stick, right?
And then the devils get a skin color.
De keren gewoon Jan, no doubt voor live with the fact que een white man te worden considerado un saint, por also Haci bad things. Of por also
You always need a villain.
En bo sempre mensen die un villain, anto het was way easy, but would depict un black figure of un black person, traditional black traditional things. Sowieso, anto Haci a villain.
That was the culture. That was the culture.
Es zei dat culture, anto toevallig net oren ons papi di Hollanda, like es zei dat een koos. Slavery is een koos.
Even though on paper, officially, they didn't really have slavery, you know.
King not in slavery on paper.
Nangajis run the biggest company
Letterlijk
of,
the
right?
biggest company of slavery ever.
But it wasn't ours.
It
It
was the Dutch.
Not here. Nos hace tour otro camino.
Yeah, but we,
No, but
they were just very slick about it.
Yeah, always.
But that's the Dutch actually.
Pero es not slick people or at a communinang. Pero like, let's be honest, mane, this really, mane, ito bisa, Uncle Jan really started something. Mino ke mane make comparisons, pero bijvoorbeeld, ora, meta ba yung Leo, pero let's say, ora Hitler abin in control na Germany, it wasn't just un crazy man screaming out these ideas. It was un crazy man screaming out these ideas. It was a full volk going with it and saying, we believe in this man. And hindi ta kere ku Hitler man take over Germany and not take over anything. Nanga vote him in. And this interclass thing is the same thing. Nanga accept it and nanga make it a celebration grande kita awe.
They led something that was already there. They just led it. It was already there. It was already embedded in the people.
Exactly.
To the
just
point
needed it to be depicted in a certain way, to be like, okay, this is our identity and we can grab it and we can run with it.
Make it popular, right? Have 5 editions of the same type of book.
And then swear to God ko enota racially motivated pa sobra ami akonta mi you at some point ko eta un storia den schorsten. Well, as a white dude, let me say this, right?
Yes, me que escucha ese un rato.
Mita heavily like nostasi jokes, right? Mita not jokes, the real like mita heavily with the culture, okay? Kiko esay kementa basicamente ami grow up riba mani black culture. Ami nunca nota otati mani mi tumba of mani bosa ko mi kemen findi aya no ami tata strictly hip hop culture desde miti mani just stress aya. So desde mi tata young ma kind of grow ku black culture anto ma wak mani door die muziek e door die mani movies e ture kono ko ami tata interessat in je ma kind of wak to the struggles ku mani black people tata passa door die je, right? Anto when it comes to mani center class imi tata have this conversation ko Ali tamenos have this conversation so many times. Hopi biaha as and this y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, right? Hopi biaha as a black kid, but Atlanta ku hinda to bisabo maneri be schoolplein en kiko bota Zwarte Piet of something like that of mani abota Zwarte Piet af na de tentabo como Zwarte Piet of whatever.
A mí nunca persoonlijk, a mí nunca na maken mee.
Okay.
Yeah, maar wak is die.
Sim, né? Me quero ver meeting memories you say happening at school. Yes.
But I can tell you guys this. Emotivo could that happens, and this is what I'm really trying to say. Emotivo could that happens na school, tapos sobre that happens at home. Gente grande nang nos problema de racism is not ding nos mucha nang. Nos problema de racism ta ku Rondi Aruba, ding nos culture and nos ting hopi yan as well. And nos ting hopi enablers de racism as well. Verdad, ela comienza a vir menos because the older generation is dying out.
I don't think so. Me kere
Ela vira less acceptable.
No, me kere big guess. And because of social media, but you call them out or you make notes like, okay, that person, I see you.
But save them a notepad.
Yeah, precies, you understand? So then, now they're less vocal about it, or they will say like things like, no, primero racista, pues, mane, mi tengo un amigo school. What? That one person, you know, those type of things. Like low-key racist, but we see you. Like
somebody told me once, me no pota racista, pero mi abuelo dat de ting mohe
Oh,
color
wow.
school.
Oh, say no.
yeah,
Tira som.
yeah.
Guy, wow.
Because Higuelo was cousin from Yan.
So,
Higuelo
Wow.
was Yan cousin.
Sir.
right? This order and then curiosity made me ask, okay,
No.
so e mohe color school tá do família? No, this me Welo su outro mohe.
Oh, really
It's una banda.
Yeah.
Then I had to explain them that in slavery time, you know,
that was-
the
yeah.
slave.
Yeah.
Say that was the vibe.
E non
Sì,
tutto
sì,
giusto,
sì,
sì,
vai,
sì.
vai.
That was the
sì.
culture. That was the slavery
Sim.
culture.
Na umbanda mita jammer ko nasa di gente que não kuta die hard mane Zwarte Piet fan bosa como
Not saying the
That would
purpose
be
is show key.
mita feel
That
bo
would be intense.
pero mita bisabo
It
si
would have been like to argue with somebody.
eta timbiaha bo tingo bisa gente si mane and porta eta hopi confrontational and this just kind of kung amita pero amita feel mane timbiaha gente tingo get confronted anto bo tingo bisa na mane wa it doesn't really matter kiko bo opinion ta because that's one of those things kuta by round hopi no bo opinion mi opinion I don't care about opinions mita respeta gente su opinions pero mi no te respeta gente su personal facts bo no po bisa exactly bo no por bisa ku Zwarte Piet nota bing of
Correcto.
nota un depiction di slaves
Yeah.
you can't do that bo no po bisa pa ami nanta nanga bindi schoorsteen pa sobra
No.
you can't do that
Off-
Anto
off-
say me kera make clear after today. Pesema Haci a small history course, right? When we started, was me te kere say that hobby importante pa kind of let that go, right? Noting that discussion, the where did it come from, anto it's been around a very long time,
So-
anto no, it has not. Compared to how long, I mean, Mr. St. Nicholas was, what did we say, elevated to the position of saint status. That's been a long time. Okay?
Not the
Not
whole helper.
exactly. Anto mi te kere ku maneira para mencionar, right? Mi te bing de família ko mi te hope contento and other times mi te mane oh shit, okay, I wasn't prepared for this. My parents ang both immigrants, na biba diferente país, so they kind of pick and choose, right, what they stick with, and they're not attached to traditions, period. Growing up, meskos ko ama nasa na Aruba, mita first generation Aruban, my parents ang siya papamento junto kumi, anto you just learn things, anto kung intense ko santa, mita tata Holandés, ting hopi ang for Holanda, anto ting ora ko santa kind of weird, anto nang aqui ski kusina ang tahaya tata important or not. So, nunca my parents ang nasin, tipa 13 center class kas, right? Of Zwarte Piet kas, of whatever. Si todo ting man yung party na school, of na un otro lugar, dapat hayong gift. Anto, esay mita unda ko, ita kere still, awen dia, even si bating man yung fond memories, you still get to choose comfort, but a buy, pa man make it a thing. Anto tingin na ko still awen dia, mita wakir ba fragen aanbod, mita bisa, okay, basta batawahin na tamani, ja, pero celebration pa mucha nam, siguro ko puntro mucha, e nota worry, si mane some purple elf bin 13, un regalo pele den su sapato, they really don't care. Okay?
like the
Regalo
lengths
don't matter.
ko gente
Who
willing
brings
to
the
buy.
gift doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a length.
Pero
Why are
batawa-
people like so like mane ideia right?
Yes.
Di kong koi me pa celebração ting meaning pa ba? Celebração meaning
Correct.
Zwarte misteta Zwarte Piet.
Correct.
É misteta preto.
But here's the fact that they feel that it has to stay that way is
the problem.
is the problem.
That is the problem because why?
Because then you're showing that okay, the scary one has to be that color.
Letterlijk.
Then your argument actually showing why it's racism.
En na ba tiki mas leo ko bodak. Mi opinion. Isa aqui tong opinion ko not like the most popular opinion. Sobra hopi hinata like the whole Kleur Piet thing, right? Mi not ni gusta de Kleur Piet thing. Mi que wa tu hende, wa si bo que usa Piet, laga tu hende ta Piet. Mi que wa Piet blanco, Piet chinês, Piet mi que wa Piet di turco logo. Pa sobra tur like if we're really gonna say man okay no surta equal and stuff, mi que wa Piet turco lo bosa kong tour style grande chiquito whatever.
If he needs helpers, let whomever, let the moms, let the moms be helpers. Now, finally, they are moms and dads, right? They buy the gifts anyway. So I
Yes.
mean, like not the
I
helpers.
just feel the fact that we actually get a switch for me is like a plus. Don't push it as in where you want to go.
Yeah,
Because I mean, look how much years we have to go to reach to this point.
Yeah.
So imagine how much years we have to go to reach where you want to go about everybody equal. Because I mean to say, it still have a lot of discussion as in, I don't like it and why it have to be this color and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's colors. I
Yeah.
mean, What is
Well,
the
No,
problem?
but tira som.
Let's
Yeah, no, I
be positive and
understand.
celebrate the little
Yes.
bit of
Yes.
Boss aqui com me costa saki. Like, me diz não quer pa mane, okay, se nós wak historically, se nós vai back na Jan, toch? Jan, okay, se nós wak origin di Sinterklaas. Sinterklaas was the good guy and the bad guy. He was a white guy, good and bad. It had good and it had bad, right? A guy go to extreme lengths pa bisa mane white guy does good, black guy does bad. Bossa kong anto PC mita preferadi no di kita colors altogether anto let everybody just be pa sobra mi quer pa mane the kids wako mane good and bad nota depende di bokolo. So bo porta abo mes. Bossa kong mikimen ibo porta malo ibong at the same time.
Me to agree, but again, we have to wait
Yes.
for that time
So,
to go because na walking mes
Imita-
no di sasi outro aya tabay ting imes un colorido of whatever gonna happen.
A
because
woki
the
mes tem
backlash-
fiesta com Zwarte Piet. A woki mes
the
tem fiesta na
backlash
Aruba
is
com
like
Zwarte Piet.
serious.
Bossa kong
Some people
No,
just refuse to leave. Go to
refuse.
the,
That's why.
And
Sem
then
ik er
for me,
bezig.
you're getting cancer.
Comita wak riba vragen aan, wat cohen ta puntra ja, si mi tabai has un fiesta, pero mi quer pitan criollo. But so not realize ko even asking for Zwarte Piet not as acceptable mas. Dus
Kasi nanti miedo.
Antori mi
Then
ta
why
pensa.
do it?
Exactly. Antori mi ta pensa si boting medo de escrever Zwarte Piet riba vragen aanbod, anto bata bisa criollo, anto den comments but explain what you mean by criollo. Antori mi ta kere but very much well aware ko what
It's
you're
the
doing.
ignorance.
Yes.
Exactly.
Anto-
Mas agora diz bisa Zwarte Piet. Mi quer
Correcto,
Zwarte
right?
Piet.
Si to
Bisa
seibo
como
chiaro, anto
chess.
seibo.
Yeah.
Aha.
Follow boss.
Anto mi ta
Money,
wak
Uncle
ko
Jan.
imita. Ai, mi giusto, vesta l'ora dentro graf, però bon.
Nossa,
Ja, la
cuenta.
l'ora.
Aha,
I
lagi
mean,
lora, lagi drift.
Stay woke, Uncle Jan. Stay woke.
Of ja, juist niet.
pero mi
Stay
tawak, kuna Holanda, pa sa ting differente movements, pur bahasi differente kami na, anto, mi tata muslimitata, mi tata bindi arna, man tata sina contento pa waku, arna tata ting lokal kwan nang mesa, bisa, de mooiste pita na ayaki. Anto it was just a costume parade, basically, ku Sinterklaas. So, nanto tata ting Sinterklaas, anto hena nang bistina mane zero overs, hena nang bistina mane, I don't know, Swiss mane warriors, whatever. Anto tata hopi nice, cause they were basically guards di Sinterklaas. So, mahaya a storyline nice. Anto si bubay back na cominciamento di ora toting parades di Sinterklaas. Pero me, like, very early parades before Uncle Jan decided ko so helpers na tabay ta sina. Nang tawa ta, mane army people toto guarding Sinterklaas. Because he is a saint, right? So
Yeah.
people gotta guard him. And si bawak back na Roman Catholic thing, they have guards to
Guards,
guard
yeah.
like their saints always. So mahaya say hopi nice ko na if anything nanga do a real story justice. Anterik
Yeah.
atrobe no so na fulong otro discussion ko. You know, this is a celebration tied to a very specific religion. Anto, you know, it's like no sta still na essay. Do you want to talk about that if anything? Basta anto,
Yeah.
no sta focusing riba sticking to something ko nota nie essence. Anto mi dahil say incredible ko gewoon why?
Die
It's
hard,
not art
die
thing
hard. Stick into
tampoco.
something could not a debo.
Yes.
Like,
Exactly.
you're killing for something that is not yours, but then what you have, you could care less about. Like, explain me the logic. I don't understand.
Nós também está mata para
understand.
nós também está brinca like den pueblo mesmo, nós também está pleita para cosco nota nós e não somente cosco nota de nós, cosco tá vai contra eigenlijk nós mesmo hende não.
Yes.
Like nós tá bezig te support e mino que usa pala, okay, nami usa holandês, right? Nós tá bezig te support algo holandês tussen haakjes. Então nós basicamente hacele de nós mesmos, like we did with most things, with most celebrations, que nós celebrate kinang. Pero for some reason, esaki, nós tá sina die hard pele uma vez, nós sabia sina die hard pele uma vez, que ainda não começa a dizer mane, hey, this doesn't make us feel good. O feito que nós tá celebrate this, and the fact que Bolsonaro tá so comfortable celebrating this, and depicting nós de certa maneira, doesn't make us feel good. And bahia assim não opina ainda tá dizendo, não, Zwarte Piet mesmo que é preto, não, Zwarte Piet kiko é coquino de racismo, and tipo de coisa aqui também tá laga mirabia, personal stories, mane, atrobe, people coming up com ang mesmo facts. Mi mama abisami ko tas fez Horstein, essa é lo que ama conta me you.
Pati yung smartphone de mamang?
Letterlijk,
Please.
letterlijk. Boy you, ta massa biku bo. Boy you, saku epo haya information ko ta actually accurate den 1 minute.
Exactly.
Hope mas accurate di lo que abo abisele. Bosa kong, like awin dia, No para nada, like, tu re maior ang kutas escuchando na casa, pero hoy en día legit, si
No,
you
papel
tem
ko yun na, please.
Sa, no vai kaya nang.
mean-
Pa sobre nanta mas sabi kubo. Honestamente, nanta hobby mas sabi kubo. Dus mane, si bokita Zwarte Piet fenang, of Sinterklaas fenang, of whatever, na no tabay haya sufa. If anything, nan sa mi ho kubo, kiko ta bom e kiko ta malo. Pa sobra abo como gente grande, ta sina pegada em tradição nang biel, terwijl bo you no ta worry mesco tradição nang mas. Bo you ta worry pe haya su regalo. That's it.
And that's
Basta
my
kung-
thing. Make it, mane, crea bo mesung tradisyon. Crea ko, okay, porque do na bo yun na regalo, mane, I do, amita usa a temporada episode, there's deals. Come on. Mito mama.
Letterlijk, letterlijk.
There are deals. Dus ora ay, mita bay compra a regalo. I think, hobi biya, ita pega ko, mane, tweede rapport of whatever, of eerste rapport. So, okay, bahasi bom. Still actually sticking to the tradition low key.
Yep.
Anto botahan algo.
It's reward for something.
Sabay junto, you pick something, I get, as a mom, mi cartera biba, anto mi yuta feliz.
Claro.
I
Mane,
mean, why
claro.
the whole party?
voorbeeld
So, para me, the fear, hecho ko bota surround your child with so much fear over a figure, and
yes,
then ko
thank
bota link to a race, so nos, gente si amak me ko mucha awa kong persona hopi score, and was like freaked all the way out.
Exactly.
And dura mayor naman hasi diretso, no, you created this monster.
Bahasi
The
cookie.
work boting vergüenza, so ba yuta pone bukara na vergüenza.
Correcto.
No, cut it off.
Ang hena ka bibisa ko, celebration eigenlijk, si Bawakit, man yung huge bribery and manipulation of kids, but coercing kids into behaving. Anta, mesmo persona aqui, mita espera, mita vai, purba pronounce po name, Shadia? Mita hobby siguro kung minamang bisa bom. Pero nada. May karabisa po hobby dank. Kasi labay busca pa nos ko St. Nicholas e pakiko ito tamane saint of kids of related to kids. Pasabra ito to save kids panano get sold as child brides or into child labor.
Yeah, that's
So
the
that's
story
really
that's the
nice.
story ko amisa
Okay.
DJ sa.
So to more specific as to why he was elevated to this
Thank you for
saint
that.
position. Pero bayano back ng lokal ko baka bibisa, right? And as a parent, como social worker, I do want to hear this perspective. Amita super open kung mi sobrina ng anto, mita papa hobby ko lang. Anto mita ni Cora, kiko tata, pero mi sobrina tata net na edad, sung chiquito. Ita figuring out kung mane Santa. So that Haci, mane a big deal of Sinterklaas, whatever. Pero ito papiano about Santa. Anto ito mane, sí, pero ito bisami algo, anto all of a sudden Santa to get it right. Anto, sa ito bisami, pero mawake sa tal kamina. Anto, un dia, sinti mane, okay, mi no po keep up this whole, you know. Anto, mami sila, wak. Okay, nami sabi verdad. Anto, of course, not the full truth. Pero mami sila, Santa are really, really busy, obviously, and no puedo keep up más. Antes, dating hopi tiki mucho, so that's why he could do it. Pero bueno, por más. Anto, we can only communicate with adults. Anto, adults per send him emails. Anto, back and forth. Anto, sina gifts. And so basically, adults in your life to doing his job because he can't do it anymore. Anto, riba ma add perspective to it. Ma bisele, anto, adults don't getting enough money to buy the gifts that don't need like gifts from him, right? Ta buy the gifts. Anterior hina nang tempi centos cost to new, mabisili tambe. Anterior eta papi ku adults hindi man yung centos cost. Bijvoorbeeld pa jude otro mucho na. Oh my gosh, labay jude wrap gifts and to man centos so nice to communicate with these adults. Mi no me sera bisili ku mane mi nunca papi di bookie, right? Mi odio ro mane parents bisa si yung bookie and ting mane keep on record. Ami to super boca grande this. Fli nunca lo hisa, lo ma probably bisa mi parents ang anto siendo skibidi boso tambe. Basa? Mane, yes. Basa anto mita bisa ku mane nos meseta aware as adults ku uno no sota perfecto anto expecting children to mane basically get coerced into submission, pasa say it
That's what it is.
and using mane whatever you can find pa punish them of scare nang, I don't know, minutong parent ainda, atrobe, abtong parent, even social worker, I feel like that is very toxic and unhealthy.
It is. It is all the way wrong. All the way wrong. Amita gewoon bij kom yun na ikumpra nang. Gewoon punt. Imita bis nang tame tende. Porque tal cos, mi placa no ta llega, so find option number 2. Because I really don't get to later.
My dad was worse.
Pero se não está, den gato hen da ni kere den Sinterklaas, Roman.
My dad was worse. He literally like give me the money, like I give you the money, go get
I
your
mean,
gift.
I find as parents, you have to just have conversations.
Yes.
Home period conversation, and it could be uneasy, but just have conversations. with all of this going on, I mean, educate your child no matter what race you are. The moment that you're using another race for something negative, you're supposed to know that's a red flag.
Letterlijk.
Gewoon.
Letterlijk.
But just to simplify it, as from the minute you have to scare your child into behaving,
That's a red flag.
You're not parenting the correct way.
Na mi uso een real life voorbeeld.
I mean, you need help. You need to go to
Bo meste un ko.
Yeah.
get some tips.
Bo falta un ko.
Yeah.
Man, miro man, I remember like 2 years ago, even before I go get that echt popping like that, man, ko toen dat man, okay, stop. Was
Not
that
okay.
it's not okay.
Popping? I didn't know it was popping.
Ito the popping. Doos ayan pa sa sigumila kumisa man henda kumisa bisa man hey, this is not good. Ito echt un our generation thing.
Dus ay pasami ta kara ko ora ko Sinterklaas ay
Misa
yega.
kimen ko woord gebruik, pero suave.
Okay.
Pero no, mi kimen like
Tot een
mirumang.
discussion.
Mida is ito with the culture discussion. Pero mida kara mirumang tao man mirumang bisa mi sobrina ko mi sobrino man just sa it's not good, you know. We're not about to celebrate this. Pasobra emotivo aqui. Basta le expliqué full history of it. Obviously nada mucha. Nanga siya full otro history DJ que me nada mucha. Nota by bisa mucha the feria da que men ela conta mi sobrina com mi sobrina. Esaki the facts. Que men just sa it wasn't the celebration that y'all thought it was, you know.
But it can still be nice.
Pero it can still be nice in a different way. Mi sobrina com mi sobrina. Okay. Oh, nós te compreender, Kiko, it's all good. Que men issue no nang. Issue de gewoon hende grande. Got the stuck in their ways. And to say that bondi nos generation. Was a nos thing. But a nos generation that a generation ku mit a kera tabay corrigi hopi fout di nos maior nang kunang nota outra ting imino que bisa na nota outra ting é conhecimento para corrigir pero hopi bia na nota ting é coragem para corrigir because everybody knows ora algo da bom ou algo da malo tu renda sa amisa ko sim vai comentário aqui checa na hora aqui me da biranti que ma gordo manhã nós tu sa que tá bom que tá malo period then tu área de vida
find all type of illogical excuses. It say that irk me. Like if you want to be stuck on it and that is your thing, then that is your thing. Don't try to convince me that no, you're being ridiculous. Like I think like we have this conversation right now. Misa siguro hindi bisa mi, pero di kombo sa sina drug. Ito just algo pe mucho na. Listen, and people of color, FYI, people of color could imbia mi ka blog delete na ba Facebook.
Oh my gosh.
So people of color tamane, ay di kombo sa sina drug. Ito ko pe mucho nang because e porta pe mucho na pero di kung e me se queda assim, why you can't
Di começa vai ten costa.
Thanksgiving, nothing very good.
Nope.
It's not a nice tradition.
No.
But all of us right now, it evolved and it became something to be thankful for. Of course, we all thankful all the time, but it became like a whole thing.
But the thankful
we can
too.
switch that, but we can't switch this. Like why?
Yep.
Nobody can answer
that.
But to add to what you're saying, that's one of my biggest issues. Like, you can't tell me how your actions made me feel. You can't dictate how I supposed to react to your actions. Like, how? Like,
who make you? Who die? Who die and make you Uncle Jan?
like what made it so acceptable that I just have to sit down and accept how you made me feel? I'm allowed to feel how I feel, and I'm allowed to voice it.
They want to have an excuse too for be like, no, but then you have a chip on your shoulder. Hey, listen.
Oh, well, maybe I do, and that's your fault too.
That could send me. It's like, no, pero bota overdrive and blah blah blah. Of esaki, pero Nicole, bota brain, ponota preto.
I get that all the time.
Really?
Well, quem preto então?
Oh wow.
So I was like, no, pa sobra. Taira di auto, essaita preto. No. Tell me more of this black you speak of.
Wow.
So I don't have a black race then. I know.
Mm-hmm.
And highly educated people, FYI.
Yes.
Like you, Brian. Yeah.
But we all know that education, just about the educated.
It's not, but you would yes, you expect a little bit more.
About races, but not about empathy. Você say the local está metade da papi, da maneira. Fully cookita by lead back, to hinderen ku ting ability ti pensa un tiki empathetic of hinderen ku no ting ability ti pensa un tiki empathetic. Tur kosta by lita dat. Imita kere say ting te maken ku emotional intelligence e habilidad tame di bisa mane bosa ting hende ta asina stubborn pero timbia a mi Mr. stubborn, right? Pero timbia ting abotambe sa for sure. Das timbia being stubborn is a good thing tame pa sobra bosa but I get stuff done. Pero timbia hende ta stubborn emotionally. Mane ora nan escucha algo e say nanta die by it, nanta lie by it, nanta live by it, nanta hasi turkos and it's a strong word, pero I hate people like that. I hate people who sa ora algo nota bom, pero pa sobra nang kiar gana un argument, nanta push for it. No, esaki ta lo quale me sata, no. Like, ting cierto cos nang kuta clearly wrong. Pero bosa is just smart people. Pa sobre we don't really argue with people kuno ta. Bosa kung ikimen orong hende noting algo diretso di bisa pondo ba argue kune.
We just leave it alone. But again, I'm happy we're having a conversation now.
Yes.
Whether they want to hear it or not, everybody please share and please get everybody on this vibe because I think it's enough. It's enough. And especially when you have to think, not because I am black that mean I have to feel like sensitive. It was any other race, it was any other figure, and I find it was wrong, I would protest. And that's what people don't understand. They feel because you somewhat personally attached to it, it's like, oh, you being drunk. No. Any type of minority, I'm going to be there. Because wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter what it is exactly. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
And what you were just saying, right, about Thanksgiving, I come from indigenous ancestors, and that is something that I also did some digging on. And
very cruel.
Anytime that we thought about like giving thanks, especially around this time, especially since my mom is so in touch with like moon changes and stuff like that,
Hey,
is
Mom.
that
Hey, Mom, I see you, Mommy.
yeah, like I was not allowed to cut my hair on any other dates except like full moon and new moons. But yeah, so I'm
That's
still
a must.
shout out to Nelson, 4th of December.
So that's part of the culture. I mean, come on.
But when my parents lived in the US, and when we celebrate like something like Thanksgiving, it's about the harvest. It's a time when you should be thankful for the harvest, right? Back then it was the little harvest that you're giving thanks to because you're going into winter. But now it's the harvest of your year. Like what were you able to create and do during this year? And it's coming up. We know what's happening in Canada with all the schools, with all the indigenous kids, and everybody's like heartstruck, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, like this is very sad, and this happened. Yes, and just like, I don't understand the kung tiyan sino bien ko po Cynthia SAC, which is like further away from us, to this one thing that is like closer to us.
But the reason that is because especially in Aruba,
because we didn't do it.
People don't react to anything unless it affects them personally.
Okay.
So if it's not affects them directly, they don't really care about it. They turn the blind eye.
No, but then again, you see a bunch of people on social media like speaking out against like these horrible stories about these indigenous kids.
I'm going to teach you something about social media.
You what?
I'm going to teach you something about social media.
Drum roll, please.
It's just whatever that's trending.
Most people just do it for the trending and for the likes.
Yeah, okay. But
because they don't really dig and educate themselves as in why is it really wrong, and
why is it an
how
issue?
can I help, and how are we going to have this conversation? Because sharing something is one thing, but being able to have a conversation to educate others is a whole nother situation again.
So another thing I wanted to touch. Dia 20 di November todo dia di mucha, right? Dia di direito na di mucha. Anto I saw a lot of people just like on Wednesday, right? They just share, and I don't want to say just, but they share like the kids in their lives, and they share like the men in their life that they appreciate, etc. But on Children's Day, right? I saw a bunch of people who do celebrate Zwarte Piet festivities share why Children's Day is so important and all of the children in their lives.
Did you have them noted, man?
Of course.
Yes.
But my point is, Se bota raia que dia de direito de mucha tá sina importante, me tá espera que bo atuma tique tempo e a bailesa que que turta hinka den declaração de direito de mucha, para bo realize que entre outro igualdade tão parte hobby grande. Anto que bo nota bailaga mucha nan cresce den environments onde que nanta bullied, onde que nanta senti menospreciar, etc. So, pa e maestra nan que decora full nan class, que ato bai? Na Zwarte Piet.
Stop it.
Maestro
yes.
nang. Maestro.
Tem par. Nota tem par. Que ato bai?
No, sowieso.
Me tá espera.
Pa mucha nang. Ano está sendo druk right now. Remember, no está gewoon full.
Ano está quebrando a celebração de mucha nang.
Precies, ano está bitter old people who just don't get it. Gewoon pa mucha nang.
Me tá espera que vou por baikas anto baikas of te botar na casa capa forever. E tuma mesmo hobby minute que ba tuma right tá bai busca onde na rua botar raia, porque não tem hobby mais. Kostan die Zwarte Piet, pas so met die stores ang na Aruba tame kung minsan bira hobby mas aware e henan que produce those things. Anto bo pensa ku mahinga tura energia e pa toch haya this traditional right material pa decorate pa bo lesa mesmo declaração de direito de mucha e anto pensa rato si demo class bota bezig ta abide. Buy it.
E also wanneer op piano die school que kost right een conversation com
should that even be allowed? I mean, no.
I don't think it should. I don't think.
I remember 2 years ago the Minister of Culture mentioned publicly for us to stop doing it and stuff like that, using the blackface. But I don't know if they ever made it like a law.
I don't think so.
No, sowieso not.
No,
You're pushing it, Jason.
bro.
Come on.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Come on.
I just have faith in
Bro,
But-
quem boquer para make it a law? Quem boquer para make it a law?
Pero volgens UN,
No.
pero volgens UN, Holanda que to buiten under watch, pa sobra nang ta bezig ta Haci esaki ko ainda ta problematic, right? So nossa firma em acordo, nós Aruba, nós mesmo ta firma nada, Holanda firma pa nós, então nós tigo anta nós mesmo na jail. Então entre outro ta discriminação, right? So no momento que você actively do something,
Yeah.
you know, anto misako ito hopi confronting anto que might be hard vooral pa hena nang ku basa ta pensa ku nanta doing right pero ting ora maybe people should take it a little bit further anto call it by what it is.
Exactly.
Anto
We're
you know
grown.
sali ku facts mane direito de
So-
mucho ta bisa ku school to supposed to a safe environment
And then
o
this
classroom at
happening.
this moment
It's
not
unsafe.
unsafe. It's unsafe.
And then the fact that you're not seeing it. Esa é a parte triste.
Of in feite que bota wake, pero bota choose not to wake. But so I say, mane pa ami porta interesse opinião. Pa ami bo por okay. Porta interesse opinião de geval aqui. Bo porta bo por wax in the class. Ando bisa mane I want to abolish full if fiesta aqui because I don't like it. Essa é a opinião Bo
Pero si
porting-
ba tong hene kun nota pro-religious celebrations, right?
Exactly.
Totally.
To be honest, aminolo. Bosa toch, aminolo. Boting opinion dos, kuta bisa, bosa kiko, let's keep center class, pero let's fix the things kuta wata wrong of kuta wrong with it. Mane untiki dia ampak di Thanksgiving. Kung nanga si kuta. Of e opinion 3, kuhena to bisa mane wak. E koki ta racista, and I want to keep it this way. I don't care ko eta racista.
Pero mi nota racista.
Pero mi nota racista. Pero é fiesta da racista, mi da wak racismo dinje, a verdade tem roots racista, pero I don't care. I want to keep it like this, right? E sei pa mi ta e tres opinião que por existir at this point. Anything bahalfa esaki, pa mi ta be gewoon considerable ignorant. Pa sobra, there should be no conversation about is it racist or is it not racist, okay? I
Eta,
think that
yeah,
should
no
end there. Now, even historically,
It's a
si
racist
bo nota
tradition.
care, exactly. Si bo nota care about the history of it. Bosa kom botong hende, because I'm da hope interested in history. Me da asumi kono sturki na da hope interested in history, pa sobra nos ta comprende importance of history. Bosa kong i consistently din history. Ora kos na nga bay wrong, consistently na nga bay wrong asinaki. Consistently na nga bay wrong atro ke bring kos hope erg up, pero si nos walk back na, you know, the Second World War of whatever, ora, coisa nga by wrong in the Second World War, pero may kuno sa get to a point una ko dating matamento, tao dating depictions of people, tao dating depict Jews as manihindanan, ko tao malo, ko tao horta, ko tao take from them, ko tao tumatur ng plaka, tur costa kumisa ko advertising, basta kong, tur costa kumisa ko marketing. It's not hope basic, but that's kind of how it is, right? Now, I'm not saying ko dating ever war, contra mani hindran ko to get depicted manera Zwarte Piet. But what I'm saying it were to happen on the inside. It were to happen on a schoolplein nang. Bosa kung it were to atrobe si bon not interested in history. Gisa there are little black kids right now ribe schoolplein nang
Kung no tingnan iba escola diyan nang
yes, pa sobrang nanta bay wardo ya mas Zwarte Piet nanta bay kasi nanta bay yora pa sobrang nanta bay wardo ya mas Zwarte Piet. Anto abo no ke wake of no ta kis pa wake malo denje essaita lo qual abo tingo carga riba bo. Okay? So before we talk about mane this shit style for the I'm sorry, minus as mi makti curse. Pero before we talk about this shit style for the historical point of view of after no sa do all of that kaba. That's all important.
It boils down to that.
It boils down to this. Must be banda in the modern world right now. You know, not everybody is interested in history. Pero gisa, iting chance grande by the way. Kasi abot ang yaman ng Zwarte Piet na kas, gisa ko boy yuta yamando ng Zwarte Piet na school tambe. E mucho na itahayando kompleho pa via dibo. Pa via dibo mal costumbre nang ipavia ko abo no ke cambie, no ke wako bota hurting people. Because this is hurting people. We're out here hurting people by depicting them a certain way.
We're okay with it. Until how?
Yes.
Like how you could gossip and feel like, you know what? Hey, that's no ridiculous. Like how Jason just say, you cannot tell me how to feel about something. And maybe it didn't happen to me directly, but just the fact that maybe somebody going through that is like, wow. Our children not supposed to. We supposed to protect our children. We supposed to make sure that they are not being harmed, not feeling a certain way. And then here we are because in the name of Uncle Jan's tradition, because this is Uncle Jan. This is all,
exactly.
We right here today because of some man who was obsessed with something and was
with nobles and whatever gifts they got, and they happened to get a Moorish child, and then
Ahora que me estoy un poco llama Center Club Aruba. Alia kami manda mi riba WhatsApp, and this is what it looks like.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? This is what it looks. Mi kepa boso bimbe riba algo.
Si mi tame hayo parco da still donando criollo center class services.
Hulanda ako misa change, guys.
Yep.
Hulanda.
Uncle Jan ako misa.
Uncle Jan su hende nang ako misa wak Uncle Jan su fault.
And then here we are.
Bro.
Bigging up Uncle Jan.
Hulanda doesn't even have black people. Kuta originally di Hulanda. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Kung bosa minota ko king abisami, nanta mane bosa Randall, botin ko fight for this shit even though it not affect bo directly. This shit affects me directly because it's my people. It's my people. But this is my
but you know this. So you know this, but you have to remember the majority, and speaking specifically Aruba, the majority typical Arubian don't know their history. They don't know who they are.
No, they don't.
Yeah, say the full.
I say the full
other.
This is another episode.
Do we really have white people in Aruba?
Jason, don't get me started.
Okay, that's the
no,
point.
exactly. And atrobe local ko rando bisano e nota ko e mester basta sei tamite cosco hopi hende nota move of nota hasi algo te ora ko eta directly impact them, right? Say the human behavior, whatever.
Yes.
Okay. Pero na momento imita I can't repeat this enough durante my show. All the topics that I talk about, right? Vooral waarom ik papi about minorities, people with disability, whatever. Aunque que não te afeta a mim diretamente, na momento como society tem groups of people who not reaching a max potential, a mim not reaching my max potential.
Yes. Is it looking at the probability empathy?
Si take it to the most selfish aspect of it, si el lugar que no draina so max potential, abo not vai como max potential. Period. Anteori kung if anything, si essa é a única motivation, how is that not your motivation? Mas kung bono quer elevate full lugar pa eri abo tambe.
Pero na Aruba we don't have that mentality.
What sorcery do you talk about,
Na Aruba nos no tinha mentality se nos tur vai dilante. Na Aruba nos tem strong mentality. Disse ami vai dilante. So na Aruba all that money.
Dobla guarda.
Lo mi tinko dem bolus. Na Aruba, that's just how it is. Hey, and that in tour industry. A mi papa pa mi industry. It's horrible. It's horrible pa mi industry. Bosa ko mi kimen, pero misa is the kind of like how we roll gewoon as
but
humans.
We have to change it.
Misa.
Everything in life. Let's talk about history coming to now. If you want something to change, you have to change your movement. You have to make that change.
So,
and yes, we're going to say, oh, we want to be the change. Well, what are you actually? What you're actively doing?
Nos quer união. Nos quer união. Que dia nós vai unir?
Actively doing to create a unity.
People, most of the time when somebody say that, que dia nós uni of bang uni is for their cause.
Yeah.
And then when you need a union for another cause, they're not there.
Pero união não existe. We don't have to união hende, mane união hende não tenho uni. This is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be arguing with these people.
Yep.
Paso lo cual no está criando ahora aqui, hope aí foto considerar como desunião, não está desuniendo. Você não sei que palavra tá. Não está criando drama. Não está criando drama, não está probando de desunir gente or whatever. Like now we need to have na Aruba nos meste menos união. Para sobre cada viaje que tem união na Aruba, é para beneficiar o grupo de mais grande de gente, and then nobody else to really feel connected to it. Você como que men? Quanto celebração tem na Aruba que abo não te feel connected to, abo não te feel connected to? Você como que men?
Are you putting me on blast, man?
Não, pero isso é real shit. Mané, tem hope coisas que nós não te celebrar, para sobre nós não te feel connected to it, para sobre nunca nós não sentimos, mas nós está even part of that.
Exactly.
Você como que men?
That was because we wasn't accepted. By that group.
Precies, que me bomeste tá certa maneira, mesmo de música, se não traga música about canta, se bo videoclips não tá bandila maf, mane, você como que mane se bo não tá bezig tá depict a traditional of mane typical Aruban lifestyle, guess what, because não tá by work, right?
Traditional.
Ando que tá passa, when it comes to traditional, kiko tá traditional. Traditional tá coisa com nós, a tuma for de Holanda, apparently de Jan, tá nós a tuma de Jackie, nós a tuma de Jackie, and we protect some, pero some others could hurt people specifically. We protect super. Man, say nos te proteja más cultura. And we gotta break that cycle, man, because it's not good para nos jong.
En mi punto dat gewoon anything in life, whether it's a tradition, whether it's not, the moment you hurting somebody else, you have to get it.
Exactly.
When something happen, and it's like you for yourself have to reflect and be like, you know what? What's the cause? It have a cause behind it. Who getting hurt? If somebody getting hurt, cancel it. What? I don't understand why
it could never be so important.
Exactly.
If it's hurting somebody.
Kada ba yun ten costa di mane fear of mane basta
exactly.
You know just a group of kids pa sobra honestly mayoría mucha mi no conoce mucha na mi rephrase mi no conoce mucha kutahaya Zwarte Piet leuk ni su único benefit ta pa push a rhetoric atrobe di mayor nang pating miedo so si bota bin bisami kuta pa mucha nang anturi no pa sobra bij punt 3 tayo leuk, nang no tayo leuk, regalo tayo leuk. Maybe, I mean, awin dia, hope mo siya nanta even haya Sinterklaas. Weird. Exactly. Makabi haya
Sinterklaas na korda natin pasto, pisay na tayo claro. Natag, ori yung acerca, namihin kami mana na mi bumesa.
Behave.
Pero no,
Behave.
Nantame, ito ang notícia.
Okay, nós não vai have conversations de pedofilia.
Não me pero
é fun conversation to have. Okay, pero é real shit, sim.
Because like with this too, comes the conversation on colorism, and that's a whole conversation I so want to have.
And we can.
Well, nós might as well have it now, but sobre
we
vida.
No.
We don't have time.
That's
a whole conversation, and that's within our culture. That we harbor in it, and then these type of things, these type of racist traditions, then amplifying the colorism.
Yes.
Because even though it's talking about a black race, but then the darker skinned one being affected comparing to the lighter skinned one, but then it's just one race. But we got to talk about that, Carolina.
So, mahaya message di only nos viewers nang. Anto, apparently, ito yung conversation de grupo over the Kupa e mucha nang is a switch. Zwarte Piet, dat is boos ke celebrate is, who's a Piet, right? Anteri e persona a conteste back blauwe Piet, per er is smurf nang lo haya racist. Rode Piet, appel te worden discrimineren.
Não sabe o
Yellow,
muito barato.
wara. Yellow não tem problema com baby chickens. Então, exactly. Então, me pensa.
Is those excuses like just to
Exactly.
keep something?
Então, ele me bisa também, é falta de respeito, ribajet também, que você vem comparar actual people
With
Smurfs.
com Smurfs, então Apple,
Pero no pa nada.
então louco,
Não para nada,
My
guys.
question to the person who raised you.
So,
Who raised you, man?
also, we shouldn't be replying to essay. Dus I don't even think nos miste duna e persona
Não, me não quero pessoa aí do bestawa no show tampouco, pero
Yeah,
uma pessoa que era assim duidelijk to what extremes gente tá willing para buy, com excuses e para defender algo.
Yes.
Yeah, but-
Smurfs with human beings. Wow.
Apples.
I mean,
Hey, Apple just
chicks.
sentia discrimina. Like,
Come on.
atrobe, that's some dumb shit. Você como que man? And that's some shit que nós base to accept the no siendo. So that's like, I think that's crazy. Con nós do.
Someone sent me. My mom actually
Aw.
sent me an article where it says, I'm gonna read it. Aruba doet Zwarte Piet in de baan. De overheid gaat niet meer ondersteunen dat mensen zich schimmiken tot Zwarte Piet. Dus they actually,
Schminken zeggen.
so they actually did make it a thing, but people still celebrate it.
Yes, and that's the thing that, you know, it was a move, but again, some people still want to,
Stick to Uncle Jan.
yes. Antomita pensa atrove.
Uncle Jan.
Uncle Jan que mapo de thing non.
Ela dona bosso terreno. É gai que dona bosso terreno.
No cinco, mita
Uncle Jan
pen.
na papi ko nang.
Aha.
Yeah.
No, Mr.
Yeah,
Wa.
yeah.
Mita quer que we need to say this enough para gente sa the only coisa que bini. So say his name para gente sa ku
Uncle Jan.
this one guy decided at some point ko esaki ta uma boa ideia anto wanos que não tá discutir que tá bem para sobra this guy who long time left us bye e portanto tá sasi su com um sucesso of no wanos aqui.
A cria gewoon een monster.
Terwijl
Um
we toca
monster.
Drake com Lil Wayne que conecta um bocado. Ando para bira celebrar Zwarte Piet com Sinterklaas.
Soba, hello. Nang tabrain.
Ah, berana, não tá. Botira só não tá bruin.
Tijd bij de les.
Ah,
Nang tabrain.
não tá bruin. Anto Zwarte Pieta.
Reto.
Zwarte Piet. Anto, que era Zwarte Piet só tá preto ou não?
Sim.
Ah, dat is een
Ik tijden aan die auto nang.
Het Zwarte Piet, que é Zwarte Piet, tá, é mesmo
Nang
coloque.
fictional people.
Ah,
Pero hello,
Fictional
well,
people,
se não está bem riba é mesmo um tópico e então eu comecei a apelo sentir discriminar. Next
Yes.
time, eu tenho que detalhar na minha auto, lagi assim tá bani não, santo por 13 barata assim, não, porque aparentemente esse tipo de discussão não.
Se você traz apple que tem, não sei lá se paricou.
I wonder if,
producer.
like, for example, the person that wrote that, I wonder if they actually sit down and realize how stupid they are.
No,
But the thing is,
Pananda
it was
masya
a
ko yun ata.
conversation.
Hindi
So
masya
this
ko yun
person
ata.
didn't say it. This person was in a conversation with
Yeah,
somebody.
but yeah.
So my point is, how was your reaction? Listen, I'm about aggression.
No, but look,
But I got slapped.
look, like these is like
That was
some of my
a
closest
hard
friends.
slap. I would have break
And-
nails.
I can honestly
Hey, yo,
say
you know
these,
about
like
my
we
nails.
always honest with each other. Like, somebody in your
June,
crib
June.
have to tell you sound stupid.
Obviously not, because they're still repeating it in 2021.
But tengo cara com nan tour tem mesmo renda. E renda não conta papi coi, ora não tá hengo outro, nan tour tem mesmo style de renda. Da diz não tá subir para Facebook, anto ora não subir para
Birds of a
Facebook, não tá
feather
haya
flock
mais
together.
rende,
Pero-
conta mesmo style de renda com nan, que mene coi te vira gewoon full pool de idiotez, bako.
I just believe
Dios
too much in
panos
people.
mucha nang.
Yes,
Dios
but
panos mucha nang.
what Jason said, you know, Kiko pode responder em momento aí. Before that, minha bisa Tammy, super awesome. Tammy te bisa que nunca ela pensa de usar character, vooral com nota de verdade, para purba instill medo dentro do yunang para behave or something. Anto que sei te bisa hopi de parent miss e com que mentalidade pode estar lanta não, right? Fear factor.
Yes, Tammy.
Pero bayendo back riba e ponto e kono sabisa, right? Bang começar close off this thing. Sa mita kira nos turkinan sintata agree ko. I mean, nos not supposed to acceptar ko ding publicly funded places e tipo de coisa a kita allowed kita buy. So sa kita uma chamada para tur school bestuur para please, you know, tá consciente de que ko tá passa dentro da escola não, abo como hoofd of Você diretor de uma escola, então tem que consciente de que está passando dentro da classe, então me saco hobby de não está consciente de que está passando dentro cada classe. Precisa consciente que o portátil muito não dentro da escola, dentro da classe, está sendo super inconfortável no momento não aqui para sobra. Com whatever intenção é maestra aqui para toch seguir com a tradição que o portátil hurting, verdade não é a maioria de sua classe, pero even se está está demais.
Tá matter.
Ok. Outro ponto que me dá importante para nós papo de dieta é boundary A, right? Ora é tipo de conversação não aqui come up. Me saco it's hard, but I would like for you all, incluindo me mesmo, portanto donar tips on how we should positively react to these type of comments. E me tá being genuine about this pa Kiko, pa sobra me saco nos portar de nos coração que react hopi dynamic momento but then we for sure will not get those people.
React hopi dynamic.
Nossa amplia problema, dus eigenlijk moet ik educar.
Me choosing words wisely.
I agree.
Okay,
you have
thank
to,
you,
have
Nicole.
to be able to educate people, and that's why I believe being here is key, because we're having this conversation, and hopefully everybody could continue sharing this. And to you're going to get reminded, and you're going to share it again until we create a movement on awareness. Sa trobe, como ser humano, nosotros aqui não para quebrar outro. We're not. What? How? Compreende? Então, nós estamos de muita com o nosso futuro, então what we're doing, gewoon
quebrando, não.
Período de nós aí, nós estamos quebrando em muita para I don't know, excitement junto com Uncle Jan.
Just você não afeta a aba, bota quebrando muito na randibo, então bota consciente de jeito.
E era bom mesmo muito não também, no momento que bota seguir com o fear factor e com o you não também bota sendo assim. Também bota quebrando na self-esteem, então também bota basic tá quebrando.
I think that's like the biggest root of the problem. Like again, why do you need to scare your kids?
Fear and children.
Like why you have to scare them into behaving?
Tá com mi homo yun.
I mean, like you need to use that to scare them into behaving. It don't make sense.
Mane nos na Marte. Que dá bom, Zwarte Piet op pimpa. Osa como que vem? Não, riba chill. Wa. Bis eu com Haci direito, então abo também Haci direito, eta vai ok.
Quando abo dá comentário, poça, eta hobby mal muito niet is Zwarte Piet, et medo.
How about teaching your kids to behave because it's the right thing to do?
Vamos começar aí.
Teach your children respect. Values comes. Values start at home.
Boy, tá gritando rond. Make sure que tá ganhando atenção com o mister. Para mim. De dois, make sure que tu custa ok com ele. Portar tem sensory issues, portar tem other things going around, you know. Toma actual tempo para conhecer you. Passar que eu tá trabalhando com ele. Esse também tem outra coisa. Não outra coisa atrapa mesmo muito. So, é tipo de comments aí que nem diz Zwarte Piet de medo. Of course not, because there are some kids who não tem medo de fear factor A. Sim, eu conhecer you não. Sim, eu figure out que eu tá work com ele. Então, tem chance que se você interessa em casa, cada um vai ser different method. So be it, right? Porque isso tá maior, and that means work.
Yeah.
I mean,
talk the thing, girl.
You know, então me tá pensa que me tá walk para comments tanto na então me tá say nice. Give insight and educate, so me que challenge to the hand right? Nós assim, maybe some new facts nang porta even se você hand super ignorant, you know, throw out some facts in there, but todo sa ko eigenlijk é tradição A, nota G, largo A. Try small things, maneira Nicole bisa, right? Share video aqui com Nancy, botawa com nanta henan ko ta willing pa escucha mas com ora, portanto no, that's fine. Pero different people are at different stages in ang awareness e awakening, insight process, whatever. So
which is okay.
Yes, it is okay. Pero meet them there.
Yeah. I understand.
Meet them there, anto me quer challenge boso ko, although it may be hard and scary.
Meet them there.
No, I want to say this. Like before, I used to think that I used to meet aggression with aggression. So I thought that was the way. And Randall noticed too because he was the same way. You know, when you meet but in time you realize meeting the aggression with aggression you don't reach to anything. So back to what you were saying, try to educate them, listen to them, listen, and when, of course,
stay neutral.
Yeah, stay neutral, because nothing they say going to make sense, and then point it out to them.
Yeah.
And maybe, like maybe you want to hear them admit that they're wrong, but maybe just planting that seed, maybe eventually it would come around to them, and they won't
years. And you have to wish them well, you know, and hope to God that they stay on that journey.
Mi deriva mesmo un zucht kubo, pero mi asinha mi asinha ku planting the seed that go very long ways. Pero bom meester meet people at where they're at. Anto mi realize tame que hobby mas difícil. Ora ko bota meet hinden nang ko hard facts. I mean, you know, often bobi sa nang siya ta races etc. Anto nang birabisabo si pero ta tradisyon anto di ko nga wora kaya itong problema. Have an answer for that, right? A wora kaya sa siya ko, it's not an old tradition at all whatsoever.
When somebody use the word tradition, remind them slavery was tradition as well.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
Mika kora turhen de mujer. Mika kora turhen de mujer ku keto bai vrouw se bota tra de governo. De governo no, eigenlijk onder ko bota. Eigenlijk leidt op is ku keto bai ka sating do na permiso pa tra, no? Just foi um reminder sei tanto da tradição. Okay? Okay.
Como mal tradição.
Eta den leis que bem ainda shona.
Ei, tradição total loss, não está se você rato mata galinha com palo, não? Mira se você sabe.
Entre outros.
Nós tem parico basta bruto tá passando, não? Você como que no, mi que men tem gangster shit passa quando anda uma tradição, você como que men anda tradição was
never. Corta cachoso oria, nos papai.
Nos papai. Ban chinurado, wa. Bang Wuhan rato kiri babusang. Romano anda mata cacho, passa para essa trece suerte. Essa é uma tradição, guys. Que men a nós portando da mata cacho, well, nós tratamos muito bom pouco, lá nós estamos honesto. Na Aruba, pero nós da mata não. Pero nós estamos metendo shit não conosco direita. Em lugar é, pensei, I agree. Tem biha batingo plant seeds, anda tem biha batingo, você tá, pero tem biha batingo dal do grito também, tem minha opinião. Você com? Você tem biha boi como
você tá mal. Vamos ter tipo gente, danke para tá gente aí nos grupos.
Tem biha boi como você tá mal com não. Você com que men?
Eu digo uma cabe, mané, pensamento quando entra na minha cabeça. Nós tem segunda classe em Zwarte Piet going on, and then a few weeks after, nós tá papiando de Passi Union. Good luck to all y'all with that.
Ando, by the way, Passi Union não existe tampoco nunca no Romano. Ando, não lagi koi bing tampoco. Paso dia ko Passi Union bing, não está total loss. Di, bosa ko by the way, bosa sa kong laugh Passi Union ta? Imagina você no
Panos sensationalist loving people, we laugh, I'm sure.
No, okay, this is what I mean. Passi Union never brought development in young samenleving ever. Sempre ora cosa develop, sempre ela bing door die of otro clash.
I don't disagree a little bit in the piece in the sense that that we could reach a place where we could disagree with each other and still be civil.
Cordial.
Yeah. Same minuto ya me say union do. Esta más manera
no, I'm talking about peace.
Ah, sí, okay.
I'm talking about peace. Like for me, I had to learn that too now because I was a person that used to back for everything. And it was like I getting pressure and my anxieties and everything going all over the place, and then you like. So I was like, you know what's going to happen, Nicole? You're going to lead that person like an and you're going to say what you have to say, plan the seed or whatever, and remove yourself from the equation. Because if not, you going sky high with a person, and they're learning nothing because for them, puta Haci no idiot, but then you agitating yourself.
That's the real shit.
So, you know, so that boundary we are talking about, being able to disagree, but not say comments like, Smurf.
Sim, me quero
disagree and be like, oh wow, okay, good luck with that.
Me quero ver, é bem importante para nós medir com os papai com discussion, right? Healthy discussion. Realize, pero me não quero see in any way para nós pensar que dori bisa nada. You're helping, exactly. So, me saco portava por diz bisa não basa. Please, me tá pedindo, vai ler essa ticket de rovers, porque a mim mesma mandava article, então portar tem a conversação tá chega, and so be it. Pero me tá encourage para nota e gente que tá diz vira cara, então sigue.
Because then you're part of the problem as well. Silence is also condoning whatever you're being silent about.
But I mean, last resort, just let people know you can't control how you make people feel.
No.
Yeah.
You know, you're in charge of your actions, but you can't control how I feel about it. So, like Randall was saying, empathy.
Yeah.
Empathy.
And then we talking about, mental health and two hands binding say and everybody jumping on that train, that bandwagon of being, so conscious and mindful and about mental health. But then here you are celebrating something that could be easily put in an adult or a child in that hole and you're okay with it. But then tomorrow you want to talk about mental health and everybody being insensitive because maybe you had a late breakdown.
Letterlijk. En dan stond er een gisting kolo of zo.
The word they use a lot is minderwaardigheid complex.
Yeah. That's a chip on the phone.
But you have to ask, if you're going to use that word, you have to ask yourself, if that's the reality, what made that person feel like less of a person?
Yeah.
Right? Yep. It goes back to what you did.
Zijn dat manela gewoon land aanto ave menos di great. Mas como like tin cosutras conosco nota addressing. E con largo non sta vista pa awa mi da clapa plate di turcos.
No, sti ora e 20 pico minuti.
Baba di keshi, ami da don, ami da plate di keshi.
Make a piri.
Dutch cheese. Sorry.
I mean,
sei wa cosi di holandês na wa. Keshi bos nanga binga ding. Boso tradizione un poco tota, però boso keshi terapia.
All the way through. That is part of the culture. That's part of the culture.
Okay.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
Wa
no turcos tá malo e no turcos tá bom. Um caminho, tur caminho tem não costa bom e tur caminho tem não costa malo.
Na marijuana los terapia, na cheese terapia, boso como que men Amsterdam terapia, boso como que men nantinan kona, nantinan museum nan.
No, but like they're self-making the changes, so why can't we?
We canceling.
Letterlijk. Essaite costumas. Yeah. Minut bij grita mas. Okay. Essaite único zin que podemos pensar. Abo sabi toch? Abo que escucha die holandês nan toch? Que men holandês nan lo que nan hace abo ta hace toch? O até hasta nanga começa cambia. Que me abo tambe o abo começa cambia. Suba começa cansar me o sim. Como nem que pique me.
You had to tell him that. You had to add that.
Okay. So we can pidi tur hande short. But hopefully make it impactful closing statement before we go. Tabi mi quero bisa turhene danki ko atunen e a misako a tot um tiki mais largo que normal para me esperamos enjoy a conversation as much as we did. Anto let me know if you have questions for one of us. Let me know. Please atrove manema bisa no hate comments anto no bin puntrame ko loco because
no, if you want to put a hate comment, put it now so we can answer you.
No. You're starting things.
But the what? No. Okay. Hate comments, please. Tabay sa Randall. Pregunta ng kans makabay sa Jason. Okay? Pero no joke. Pero see, any closing statements? Jason, may comienza ko po.
Let me.
Bueno, kaya may comienza ko po. Nicole, apa yung closing statement? Yeah,
no,
Jason. Okay.
Basically, it boils down to empathy and if we really want to reach to the society where the word union, if we really want to reach to that, we have to make sure everyone counts and everyone is valued. And that starts by caring how the other person feels, not just your tradition. So I mean, how that person feels is important as well. If everyone could wake up every day thinking, okay, it's not only about me, it's about how everyone around me feels as well, I think we could reach closer and closer to a better society. So it's basically on you.
I agree. Thank you. Nicole? What do you want to leave us with?
All over the place. For me, I think I want to start by saying, be your own person. Actually give yourself, you have the ability to think. So don't waste your brain. You understand? Information out there. I think it's time we actually educate ourselves, get the whole story before we run with anything, and be mindful of others. So it doesn't matter if my great-grandmother, if my mother self, and if I find my mother was a saint. You, as your own person, have to be able to reflect and be like, you know what? How do I feel about it? How does it make others feel? Because this is one little tradition, this is one celebration, but what about if you see other things happening around you? Are you going to stand up for it or not? Because I no care, me tem miedo. You know, it says a lot about you as a person. So I think really reflect about who you are and who you want to be in this world, and then see if it fits with a lot of, maybe say, indecent things that are going on in the world.
Thank you.
Gang.
Yes. Randall.
Para começar, me diz que era No, me te quiere, lo cual me quiere visitar kind of like un mix de vocês dois. Para começar, e essa aqui é uma conversation que nós have before a show aqui. Para mim, keyword, den full conversation aqui, den de hora la começar até onde nós está agora aqui, de promete changes a hora Haci, até agora aqui com vários changes a começar a hora Haci, na Aruba, of course, nós também nós está lacking, pero it vai being eventually was com the empathy, mane Jason nakai bisa wari. Tu costa começar em não. Tu costa começar na nós having the ability para mais empathetic towards each other. E tu costa começar na lo que a mim tá pensa, wak tur celebração, wak tur momento e wak tur emoção que botin. Dengo daily life tur pensamento que botin tur emoção que botin wak nang pa lo que não tá. No vai rely riba outro gente pa pensar riba bo, no vai rely riba tradição pa dicta que coisa bom e que coisa malo, e no vai rely e me dá de outro gente, mino que men gente estranho, me que men nibo docente era botar den zes de classe e me que men nibo mama. Paso bo mama também porta fout, bo tata também porta fout. Não vai rely ba yung gente pa pensar ba bo e vor imita bisando tur gente de nos generation voral, okay? Agora que specifically papiando towards me generation, just to say, 25 anos. Es na tiki riba di mi, es na tiki bau di mi, of es na kuta bing echt después di mi, right? Nos mesterta e generation kuta cambia eko okay. Nos mesterta e generation kuta bisa e. Nos maior nang tawata fout. E nang tawata fout in diferente manera. Nang tawata fout pa sobra te hasta ora nang tawata informed. And I'm not saying ko nang always tawata informed. Pero te hasta ora nang tawata informed, hopi biyahan nang akis pa no pull the trigger. Hopi biyahan nang akis pa sigi celebrar kos nang in minuto pa piano solamente di center class ku no tawata bong. Nos generación, we have to put a stop to this shit. Now, nos nota na Aruba, nos numbers not huge, pero we have to be the first ones to actually para atrás de nos cos y bisa, we support our brothers. We support the people who ta run di nos. And by the way, guys, henderang ko ta nos henderang ta tour hende, di tour kolo, di tour background dito pa so nos tour sa Aruba tong melting pot of cultures.
Honor it.
And we're supposed to love everyone. And we're not supposed to be afraid. Boy, you not supposed to ting miedo or wa Jason na un supermarket. Bosa como que men paso basinha com Zwarte Piet hibe Espanha. Bosa como que men? That's a wrong thought. A mim não. Agora que bobi sami Zwarte Piet hiba Espanha, me deve ser bang. Pero me que men, that's not the right.
No.
That's not. We shouldn't be doing that.
Just change it. Nós
Change it.
Everything else. But we turcos.
Juist.
Agora que nós está trabajando, mané, what? Meatless croquette bijvoorbeeld. But we can change.
Meatless croquette.
You understand what I'm saying?
Say that's my favorite croquette.
No, I'm saying, but
Just
no,
saying.
ain't not.
Hey, actually,
nota by this.
meatless croquette, tagal rabia.
No, it tastes good. It tastes good because I love eggplant.
Only one croquette. That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay, Nicole. Thank you for being. Thank you for bye.
All right. Me quero bisa poso. Hope danki para part of this conversation. Me saca na conversation fácil. Danki na hinanang kutawata tiki behind the scenes. So ta com shout out pa Ali, Franci que não para te awe. Tá conversação com misa pa nan também tá hope importante. So thank you for brainstorming with me as well. I appreciate it. I appreciate cada uniboso. E, again, you know, sincerely Carolina te exist pa educate, right? Full meeting ta social responsibility. Anto esaki ta part of that. Nos turti un responsabilidad pa nos community. Anto mi chiar ku, yeah, pa nos realize ku ito ding nos mang, aunque it may seem like insignificant, a power ku nos tini of a capacity of change ku nos tini ding nos mens. Trust me, it's not. Domino effect and butterfly effect, all of it is very true. So, just ting durf pa stand up, pelo qual ku abo ta pensa ta correcto. Manera Randall Luidens, make sure ku do the work pa realize ki ku pa abo di barata correcto. Make sure ku core
pensa.
make sure ku core values nanta in place. E também me quero bisa at the same time ku si boto un hende ku portate ku hawe te kun momento aqui botata sintiku botata pro sorte piti botata hain kun nada wrong with it tanto work ba get educated. No ting miedo pa admitir say, you are forgiven. Me not quero que hende me still forgive, but you know, you are forgiven in the sense que it's okay, nos tur tin cost nan ko nos sinha and to better from. Tame pa é maior não comportando, não realize que danho é celebração aqui tatini. It's fine, you still have time to make change. Se você não tá grande, have that conversation with them. Sobre não tem nada mais bonito que ter open e honest relationship com os parents. Thank you, Ma and Pa, for allowing me that. I appreciate that. Yes, please, mita challenge boso, homework di asimang akita as we go into those weekends, right? Una mucha nanta pone sapato, etc. Have those conversations. Papi ko mucha nang tambe, nang ta comprende hopi mas que nós ta pensa.
Uma cubo mesmo.
Sí, so you would be surprised how much they understand. Okay, no tem medo de papi costa ko tiki scary ko nang, right? Racism is scary. Talk about it. Talk about it. Anto, thank you for listening, all of you. So, para mim que nós vai, me quero avisar, me sponsors ang Hobby Donkey, allowing me to talk about this. E me espero que você me sponsor outros mga ainda. Não,
Vooral Purina Hobby Donkey.
Me eigenlijk die miedo. Me quero que você bota aqui para me sponsor, but we are going to papi de costa não tive so sometimes, right?
Voilà, que nós tá ele acaba da basta, mas se a mim tá tendo show, a mim lo per sponsor. Tussi man.
Como su manager.
Nice about it. You have to be nice about it so people can receive it. You have to be inclusive.
Abo to bisa de uma maneira assim na live, one. Nós tô papeando, bossa toque, pero abo to bisa assim na maneira, dynamic. Agora vou usar a palavra dynamic, me também não. Abo to bahaya tanto sponsor mas. Outra semana diz a palavra dynamic. Dynamic é uma palavra que o sponsor gosta.
Okay, você escuta, a Randall avisa que I deserve more sponsors.
Yes.
Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
For sure.
Pero hope danke na so nang ko takira din Sincerely Carolina and the power of Sincerely Carolina. So Lindy Boutique, thank you so much. By the way, tem um discount code, okay? Me post my stories, me post kasi todo dia. Tem um discount code se buy and with high 15% off.
Na Lindy? Lindy laga sa kiti butin pa pa plus size man. Ito bim modela fava.
Ito moeilijk, sa? See, a market pa hen hammer ta moeilijk.
No, wak, hindi hammer nota haya pa period. Nós digo by Zara, pensei nós tudo cara para ser outro.
Sí, uniforme, basta bisi uniforme.
E na Zara não para nada, bota querer amigo algo na Zara, bota querer amigo Jason da algo na Zara, não. É o único que nos bohaia, tá um dia carçone que tem elastic na banda. For the off jacket que nós tá aqui da com abrir com né. For the rest banda vai assim, banda vai nada. Você como que mento?
No, but be nice.
Sí,
no,
yeah.
pero é
Sponsor.
Caramba! Awo ba ko não joke.
Ei. No worry que com né, nos mesa tá rindo.
Fast fashion, menos mais gente fast fashion. Pero bueno. Danke na Proframe, okay? Hobby danke. Padonami a frame aqui, papapi about things that matter. Purina, thank you so much for making the best treats. Aveeno, thank you so much. Paper Sisters and Gelatissimo. Anto may tabayting giveaways. Lindy Boutique, okay? So tabayting yung gift certificate kubo por by Huza with discount code. Just stay tuned. Meeting fun gifts. The Gelatissimo, pababay share. Anto have nice hazelnut gelato. Okay, so that's my favorite. Hazelnut gelato. E também nós temos prices de Paper Sisters e Aveeno, okay? So stay pending. This was a good topic. E me hope contento que você escuta extra largo. Dus me vai saca hope giveaways. Esse man aqui, okay? Thank you so much. This was Sincerely Carolina. Stay tuned for next week. I'm not sure about the topic about next week yet, okay? But it will be good and it will be educational as always is. Thank you once again, Nicole, Randall, and Jason for being here and participating in this conversation.
Awesome. We'll be back.
See.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this was
Very
awesome.
nice. I
Appreciate it.
Yay. So I can count on you again sometime.
Of course.
Awesome.
Dá um duche grito ave toch.
Awesome.
Grito nice. But let it out.
We have to have these conversations.
Yes, we do. And of course, thank you to Sopi Mix Studio for allowing this platform for us to talk about things that we want to talk about. So thank you. And I will see you next week. Be nice this week, okay? I have notes. Bye.
Gang.
Hi, welcome to Sincerely Carolina. Thank you so much for tuning in. Are you excited? Are you ready to get motivated, educated, and hopefully have some changes in your daily life? Well, you are at the right place. I am Carolina. I will be your host of this podcast. And this podcast is available thanks to our amazing sponsors.
Lindy Boutique, Proframe, always Gelatissimo, Paper Sisters, and Aveeno.
Thank you so much.